Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, thank you so much for stopping by to check out this video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to depot Morphe palettes. As many of you may know, the Morphe palettes are great quality shadows, but the palettes themselves are lacking. They don't have a clear cover, so you can't really see which palette you're working with right off the bat, and also they're pretty just cheap and flimsy. So this way, if you depot them, you can put them in Z pallets, which are a lot more sturdier. They have the clear cover so you can see what you're working with. And I just all around think that they look a lot more professional than the Morphe palettes. This was a process. I had just watched one tutorial online myself to figure out how to do this, and so I tried it out myself. I figured out what worked best for me, and that's what I'm going to show you guys. If you'd like to see how I did depot two of my Morphe palettes, then just keep watching.
I want to start off apologizing, saying that I am really sick right now, so my voice sounds a little disgusting, so please bear with me. But you're just going to go ahead and start off with a knife or a razor blade if you have it. I did not have one, so I just used a pocket knife. And you're just going to go ahead and slice down the center of the pans through all of the lines on the palette. As you see here, you're going to do that horizontally and vertically, or you can just do it one way and then start trying to lift the pans up like I did. Because the knife wasn't super sharp, I did have to use scissors to kind of help me out with cutting between the plastic. But if you have a razor blade, you shouldn't have this problem. And for the outside portions of the palette, they come up pretty easily. When you get towards the middle, that is where a lot of the glue is at, so it's a lot more difficult. But for this, you can see this one kind of just pops right out in full. And it's up to you if you want to keep your palette in the same order that it is in the Morphe palette itself, or you can mix and match. But if you are going to keep it the same, make sure you are putting the pieces off to the side in the same order. And it's really just a lot of pulling and prodding and seeing what you can get out the most easily. And then going from there, we will take a couple steps further. But the beginning is really just trying to get out as much as you possibly can by just lifting the pieces up. As you can see, I was not using a stable surface. I do talk about this later on in the video. Please do use a stable surface if you have it. I was just using a TV tray because I don't really have a kitchen table and I didn't really feel like standing at the counter, so I used the TV tray, but it is not ideal. You can use a spatula type knife thing to try to pry out the pans if you'd like. Be careful though, because if you do bend the pan themselves, they are made of like very flimsy metal. If you do damage the pan, it will make it not fit in the palette as nicely, and obviously it won't look as nice as well. Taking a lighter, or if you choose, you can use a blow dryer for a heat source, but I've done this before with MAC eyeshadows, so I know that this works pretty well. And you're just going to hold the flame to the bottom of the plastic pan for about 3 to 5 seconds. This should be long enough to loosen up all the glue, and you should be able to pry the pan off no problem. If it is being a little bit stubborn, you can just reapply the flame to the pan, but try not to hold it on too long because you don't want to melt the plastic completely. And then I'm just going in on those pans that are still stuck to the palette, and I'm just going to try to pry them out with a knife. With this, you have to be very careful to not cut yourself and or to not damage the pans, because they will fall apart pretty easily. These pans are not super sturdy. As you can see there, some of the shadow kind of crumbled off, but you can fix that with some rubbing alcohol. I'm not sure if there is a certain percentage that works better, but this one is just 70% alcohol, and I'm just going to drop a couple drops into the pan, and then I'm going to take a quarter and some paper towels, and I'm going to press the quarter into the pan through the paper towels, and this is going to kind of pat everything down and make sure that it won't crack again. And one thing I figured out halfway through is that if If I were to have put the alcohol in all of the shadows before trying to get them out, they most likely would have not crumbled at all. And like I said, you want to be careful to not damage the pan like I did right there. I kind of poked it and dented it in. You can kind of fix this later on, but it's best to just try not to damage the pan at all if possible. The best way I found to fix a crumbled shadow was to just kind of chop it all up into a powder and then using the alcohol, quarter, and paper towel, just pressing it all back in, kind of just reforming it completely. If you do try to just put the alcohol over the chipped piece, it's not going to likely stay. It will crumble again. So by mashing it all up, it should kind of just reform itself. And you're going to really want to put some force behind it. You want to try to get this as smooth as possible. As you can see here, some of the shadow did go up on the side. I'm just going to take my fingers and press that down. And as you can see, it looks good as new. So I'm just going to continue to do that to all the shadows that had cracked. Sometimes you might lose some of the shadow and there's not really much you can do about it, but for the most part you should be able to keep the integrity of the shadow pan intact. And finally, I'm just going to take the magnetic strips that come with Z pallets and place them on the back of the pans, and so they stick into the pallet. The pans are not magnetic themselves on the 35O pallet. And if you see any cracks in any shadows that didn't completely shatter, but there may be just a crack from bending the pan or something like that, you can put alcohol and try to press down on the shadows just to keep it in place. This won't guarantee that the shadows will not crack again. Once they are kind of damaged, it's never completely the same.
So you might be wondering why I have such crazy makeup on. I actually filmed a tutorial for this look earlier and I just liked it so much I didn't want to take it off. So I'm not going to. If you don't like it, I don't care. I like this makeup, so I kept it on. I'm not sure if the video for this look will be up before or after this video, but if you like this look, then look out for that video. So there's a couple things I would like to say. It's common sense. If you're working with sharp objects or fire, you need to be careful. I'm not going to feel bad or responsible if you cut yourself or burn your fingers off. I mean, use caution. The first time I did this, I did stab myself in the hand because I was just being stupid and I wasn't really using a stable surface. So what I will say is please use a stable surface like a countertop or a kitchen table if you have it. Make sure you are doing it somewhere that's not like a nice fancy area because I made a mess. I actually ended up getting purple eyeshadow all over my couch, which I'm not very happy about because my couch is beige. But yeah, so make sure you're doing it in a sturdy surface in an area that you're not worried about getting dirty. And then also there's another way that you could try to do this. I did not try because I felt like it would take longer, but as you saw, I kind of struggled with getting the pans out of the case. And what you could try to do, instead of using fire, you could use a blow dryer. I believe that would take just a little bit longer, so because I have no patience, I just went ahead with that. But you can try it with a blow dryer, you would just need to hold it on there longer. So that's another tip. I'm trying to think if I have any other suggestions for you guys. I don't think so. So as you can see, these are not magnetic. So because I didn't have any more of those little Z Pallet magnetic strips, these are kind of sliding all over the place. The other night I actually did my 35P palette, so you can see that here. It looks like this one is more magnetic than the 35O because I don't have magnetic strips on all of these and they are still sticking in the pan, as you can see. So I don't know what the difference is between that, but this way I can just show you that you can completely mix and match. I did not choose to keep my palettes in the same exact order that they were in the original Morphe palette because I just don't really care, and they don't have names anyway, so it's not like I needed the names in the right order if I were to be using them for a tutorial. But yeah, I just really like this. You know, when I sat here the other night and did this, I could tell my boyfriend was kind of looking at me like, why are you putting a palette into a different palette? Like, I spent, you know, maybe 2 hours doing this, and he was a little bit confused. The reason why I wanted to depot these palettes is because the Morphe palettes are kind of inconvenient if you're a makeup artist because you can't see through it. I have 3 of these and I did not want to keep having to like open up all 3. Like if I have a client and I'm rushed for time, I don't want to waste my time flipping open Morphe palettes. So this way I can just see what's in there. You can also mix and match if you wanted to put some of the shadows in with another Z palette. I have about, let's see, so I have 5 Z palettes total, so if I wanted to take some of these shadows and put them in another palette, I could. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet with them. I don't know if I'm going to keep them all together in the palettes that they originally came in, or if I'm going to mix and match. I hope you guys like this tutorial. If you found it informative and you think you're going to try this out yourself, please give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if you do try it out and how it worked out for you. Thank you guys so much for watching.